Batman's 75th anniversary as the protector of Gotham City, he will go down with the elite ranks of American pop culture icons that have had the honor to become a U.S. postal stamp. The stamp collection will feature multiple images of the Caped Crusader from artistically distinct periods across his comic book history, exhibiting the evolution of the Dark Knight over the past 7.5 decades.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here today. I want to welcome all the members of the media, and you stamp fans, you comic book fans, you Bat fans, of which I am one. My name is Ralph Garman. I am so honored and so very pleased that the USPS and DC Entertainment asked me to be here today to MC today's event, because it is a very important day in the long and storied history of the Caped Crusader Batman. Today, the U.S. Postal Service adds the timeless superhero Batman to its limited edition stamp series. The Caped Crusader joins the elite ranks of American pop culture icons that have been given this unique honor. Celebrating 75 years of Batman, the stamp sheet is made of 4 character stamps and 4 corresponding bat signal stamps, and they feature illustrations from 4 very iconic Batman eras: the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and the Modern Age. Joining us today, we have some gentlemen who are responsible for bringing Batman from the comic book page to this honor today. And we'll be talking with all of them about this singular honor that Batman's receiving. We have the gentleman who designed the stamp sheet, USPS Art Director Greg Breeding, will be here today. The U.S. Postal Service CIO Jim Cochran will be joining us up here. Co-publisher of DC Entertainment Dan Didio will be with us today. And our very first guest is a gentleman whose art is actually represented on one of these stamps. He is a legendary Batman artist. He is also one of the co-publishers of DC Entertainment. Please give a warm welcome to my friend, Mr. Jim Lee.
I'm thrilled to be here today as we kick off New York Comic Con with the U.S. Postal Service's celebration of the Dark Knight's 75th anniversary. A little known fact, I was actually a stamp collector as a kid. Any other fellow stamp collectors here, fellow philatelists? Yes, anyway, so yeah, I remember getting letters from my relatives in Korea and taking the envelopes and putting them in hot water so that you could lift off the stamp off the paper, drying it, transferring it to a binder. And then that led to me joining this stamp collectors club, and they would basically mail you stamps from different countries or from around the world. And I think I was really drawn into the hobby because, like comic books, stamps really tell stories. These are stories, though, of the histories of the countries that issued the stamps. And so through the stamps, through these static single images, you can learn about the history of the country, their march towards independence, their struggle for freedom, the notable social, political figures of their times, the traditions and anniversaries that were important to them, the local flora, fauna, everything. And so it was a great entree into the world of geography, history, all that kind of stuff. But the one thing I definitely noticed is that they rarely ever actually had stamps featuring popular pop culture figures. And so even as I became a comic book artist, I never really imagined that someday I'd see my Batman artwork immortalized not once, but twice on U.S. postage stamps. First in 2006 as part of the DC Comics superhero stamp set, and now here again today. Throughout its history, the USPS has captured the nation's most iconic figures and imagery in its commemorative collections. The beauty of this Batman collection is that it represents both. Today's collection represents the entire visual evolution of the Batman character, from its creation by Bob Kane in the golden age of comics to the current modern era to which I've had the honor to contribute. Perhaps more than any other DC character, those visuals account for so much of who Batman is to you guys, to you fans. Whether the images you relate to are symbols like the bat signal or the Batmobile, or how the character has been portrayed in television, film, or games, those images have evolved over time and have kept up with the times. As an artist first preparing to draw Batman, I immersed myself in the stories of the 1940s and 50s and really admired the creative simplicity of the character's design. And as the country marched towards the 60s and 70s, Batman moved with it, and the imagery, the look, became grittier as well. So by the 1980s, when I was graduating from college, a lot of you guys probably remember Frank Miller's opus, The Dark Knight Returns. That inspired me to become a comic book artist, but also captured a look and feel that still influences Batman in both comics and film today. So the Forever Batman collection captures all this so incredibly well. It is a fitting tribute to Batman's influence and popularity over the past 75 years, and, knock on wood, well into the future. So we hope the fans here today and around the country will add these stylized stamps to their Batman collection. And I have a request or a question for Jim. Is it possible that one of these stamps might be actually published upside down, like the inverted Jenny, because I would like one for my collection. So anyway, so enjoy the con and the exciting collection we're about to unveil. Thank you.
And now, another co-publisher from DCE, a man who also looms large in the legend of the Cape Crusader, Mr. Dan Didio.
Looms large in the legend of Batman. I'm just happy to hear that Jim is a philatelist. I think that's the thing that I was waiting to hear, and happy to announce it in public. First of all, you know, I've been with DC Entertainment now for a number of years and participated in a number of great events. And to be co-publisher at a time when Batman is celebrating his 75th anniversary, and now to be honored in a way with Batman being celebrated on the stamps is really, truly icing on the cake. And, you know, it's funny because we got together and we were asking a lot of questions about stories and different stories that appeared over the years with Batman and dealing with stamps and stopping stamp thieves and all that. And we were going back through the history. But the one question that came up to us was whether or not Batman himself was a stamp collector. You know what? And we actually had to stop and think. And we talked to the writers and we talked to the editors and we started to talk about what Batman is and what he stands for and what stamp collecting stands for. And it's funny because for me personally, it felt like this moment, you know, from the movie Miracle on 34th Street, you know, when the Postal Service validates the existence of Kris Kringle. So I figured we're in this moment right now that we have to validate something very important about who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is. So we sat down and talked and we thought about Batman and we thought about Bruce Wayne. And we thought about his relationship with his father. And we thought that Thomas Wayne might have been a stamp collector. He's somebody that was meticulous and enjoyed things and something to enjoy with his son. So we pictured Thomas Wayne sitting there with Bruce Wayne, sharing stamps and sharing those moments together. And then you think about Batman as a character who loses his parents and how important his parents were to him, so much that he decides to fight injustice because of what happened to them. And then we thought back to the stamps itself. And if he had that connection to his father, then he must still have that connection to his stamps. So we're going to say right now that we will validate at this moment that Bruce Wayne, Batman, is a stamp collector. And here we are.
Thank you, Dan. And now I'd like to welcome up to the stage a very important piece to this puzzle. He is the Chief Information Officer of the United States Postal Service. Please welcome Mr. Jim Cochran.
Thank you, Ralph, for that kind introduction. Hey, I'm very excited to be back home here in the Big Apple. Grew up here just in time for New York City Comic-Con, and I'd like to welcome all of the stamp fans and Comic-Con attendees who are here today. I also like to welcome several honored guests today from our Citizen Stamp Advisory Committee. These are the people that help the Postmaster General select from over 20,000 applications every year, the about 25 stamps that we do. So Harry Rinker, BJ Bueno, and Marucci Santana, thank you for being here with us today. We want to thank all our guests for joining us, and along with everyone here, help us dedicate the newest members of the philatelic family, amazing stamps that celebrate the 75th anniversary of one of the most admired and popular superheroes in history. Of course, I'm talking about the Cape Crusader himself, Batman, who protects Gotham City, New York, from the forces of evil and strikes terror into the hearts of criminals. And it's very fitting that we are dedicating these stamps during National Stamp Collecting Month, because as any good Batman fan will tell you, and you just heard it, Bruce Wayne, Batman's alter ego, had many hobbies, including stamp collecting. In fact, stamp collecting played an important role in the childhood of Bruce Wayne, who shared the hobby with his father in the pages of comic books during the 50s. We did a lot of research on this. I've always envied Batman for his Batmobile. Now, I'm responsible for the Postal Service's 228,000 iconic delivery vehicles you see all over the streets in New York today. But I gotta be honest, none of them are as cool as the Batmobile. I also think it'd be great to have someone like Batman's trusted assistant and confidant, Alfred Pennyworth, around. As far as I'm concerned, he can have a job in my research and development group any day of the week. When you stop and think about it, it's truly amazing how Batman has evolved with the technology advancements in the real world over the decades. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why this fascinating character and role model has endured for 75 years. And right now, when the world could use a few heroes, we celebrate Batman in all his glory, in some of his finest moments, as depicted on our new limited edition Forever stamps. Featuring art from notable Batman comic book artists, including Jim Lee, and designed by our art director, Greg Breeding, the stamps depict Batman from 4 important eras of comic book history and 4 incarnations of the Bat emblem. And don't forget, these are forever stamps, so they'll always be good even if the price of postage goes up. So please, use them on your letters and packages and let Batman and his commitment to justice serve as an inspiration to all of us. And now it's my pleasure, I'd like to invite 2 more guests to join me in the celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Batman as we dedicate our new Batman Forever stamp. First, I'd like to bring up the artist, Greg Breeding, the art director who did an amazing job on these stamp designs. And of course, and finally, the Cape Crusader himself, our special guest, the hero we're here to honor, Batman.
Let's hear it for these 4 amazing stamps. Beautiful images celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Cape Crusader Batman. Batman, thank you for joining us here today. Unfortunately, we just got a call. Commissioner Gordon needs you back in Gotham City, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you so much. Crime stops for no one, not even the United States Postal Service. So.
Customers have until December 8th, 2014 to obtain the first day of issue postmark by mail. Affix the stamps to envelopes of your choice, address the envelopes to yourself or others, and place them in a larger envelope addressed to Forever Batman Stamps, Special Events Coordinator, 380 West 33rd Street, Room 4032, New York, New York, 10199-9998. After applying the first day of issue postmark, the Postal Service will return the envelopes through the mail. There is no charge for the postmark up to a quantity of 50. For more than 50, there is a 5-cent charge per postmark. All orders must be postmarked by December 8th, 2014. And I'm Kristal Hart reporting on Batman from the Jacob Javits Center here in New York City. Thanks for watching.